All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here. So, going over another video update today. This time it's going to be altcoins only, primarily altcoins, unless something happens with Bitcoin during the stream and I get an alert. Then we'll check Bitcoin out. But otherwise, it's just going to be altcoins here. Today, I'm going to start on Doge USDT. And I know this chart looks really messy and really crazy right now, but I'll hide a lot of this stuff and we'll go over some of this price action here that we're seeing on the charts. So first off, you can see that this is on the 4-hour chart. We were kind of in this descending, actually symmetrical triangle here. And of course, I disregarded this little flash crash low and then we reclaimed right away. But if you look at this symmetrical triangle that we're kind of forming over the past few days since December 24th, since Christmas Eve, since Bitcoin made that 99.9K high, we've been trading in this symmetrical triangle, and today we exploded out of the symmetrical triangle, and we're getting quite the pump right now. We are actually coming up to a very, very key resistance that I am looking at a possible short from here. You can see that this resistance is the 786 fib pull. So this fib pull is from this last prior high when we rejected from, first of all, let me go over this. This prior range that we were in was really highly respected, and we've been trading in this kind of sideways range from November 11th, the same start of the ascending channel on Bitcoin. While Bitcoin was kind of trading in an ascending channel, we were trading more sideways on Dogecoin. And then we lost that here. We lost that on the 18th, 19th, and then we had a huge dump to the downside. That's when all altcoins had a really big crash to the downside. And then we started forming this symmetrical triangle consolidation pattern, and we were able to break above it. But you can see our prior range here. These volume levels of this prior range are going to be important because we do have all of our lows close by this value area low. Like if I look prior lows like up here, we have all of our lows up here, which were in confluence with the golden pocket and the value area low of this range. So this morning I was speculating that oftentimes when you break a range like this, you'll come back up to back test that range, and you'll either reject from the prior range value area low and continue down, or you can reclaim that range and then reestablish price action within the range and start trading back within this fair value of this range again. So that's exactly what we did today. We are coming up to the point of control of this range. The point of control is in perfect confluence with the 786. So this is a resistance that we're at now. We might expect a pullback from where we are at now. We did, I believe, actually touch the 786. Yeah, it looks like we actually hit the 786. Perfect there. And we are starting to see the rejection now. Let's zoom in on the 1-hour chart. Yep, perfect rejection from the 786 here. So what I can see right away is our prior lows. Let me make this only to the 786. You can see our prior lows are in confluence with our VWAP, which the VWAP often acts as support or resistance in a trending day or in a big trending move. Now that is going to reset in about an hour here. It's going to snap up, but then we'll have our previous day VWAP close to these prior lows, which is also very, very close to our value area low here of the prior range. So our first box of support is going to be in that area here. Let's see, I think I drew it on the chart already. No, okay, so our first box of support is going to be kind of in this area here. We can look for this to hold the support here. Let's look at a fib pull from the bottom of the 4-hour move from the last time we hit the 4-hour channel to the top. Let me correct this here. And let's go to the 382, because the 382 often acts as support in a strong trend or resistance in a strong trend. So it's a little bit below us. I don't like that. It's a little bit farther down there. Now we do have our bigger box. So if I'm going to zoom back out onto the 4-hour chart here. And I'm going to show you guys this because I drew another box here. Not that one. This one here. So you can see our prior, this box is kind of like an SR flip level box here. This is our SR flip level box here. You can see the last few times we came into it, when we were above it, it acted as support here as well. But then when we lost it, it flipped to resistance, was resistance yesterday. Now we're busting above here. So this SR flip level is a very important level to be watching. If we do that same fib pull and we take the 0.5, which is often a correction target, after you see an impulsive move, you'll see a correction to the downside. And you can see our 0.5 is within this box. I believe our golden pocket's also within this box. So this is it's at the bottom of the box here, our SR flip level. We do have our prior highs of the symmetrical triangle in here, right at the top of the symmetrical triangle. Our prior highs are at the top of this box, at the top of the SR flip level, and then we have our 0.5 very close by. We do have our golden pocket down here where the last intraday lows were, or yesterday's lows. Here, right around this area here. So we have that 4-hour order block that's here. We can look at that 4-hour order block, our local golden pocket. So around 36 cents or 33.6-ish is an area I'd be looking here, a local area I'd be watching. Here, that's a box of support. We can be looking at our first box of support. You could look a little bit above it at these prior highs, but I would rather come back down to the bottom of the box here into the golden pocket. So that can be your first support level you're looking at. If we do reject from where we're at now, which I think it's a high probability, but before we get to this level here, so this would be your like second level of support you're looking at. Your first level of support is going to be obviously this little area here where it is our value area low in confluence with the prior lows of this here, this kind of range that we were in there. And that's also the value area low. So oftentimes when you break back into a range like this, especially if you reject from the POC, you'll come back down to the value area low to confirm a flip to support before continuing higher. Now, if we do continue higher, you can see that the top of our fib pull, this last high that we made at the value area high before we saw the big aggressive dump to the downside, we can have the swing failure pattern of this high into the value area high of this range. So like this area here is a level you would be interested in looking at a possible short from if you get the confirmed swing failure pattern here. I do believe we also have a golden pocket around there. If we do take the highs to the lows here, okay, our golden pocket's not quite there. Our golden pocket's a little bit, let's look at the 786 here. 786 is not in really nice confluence either. That's too far away for me on an altcoin. Let's look at the session volume profile. All right, so we don't have that. Just the SFP into the value area high is an area I would be looking as a resistance, but you can see we do have a naked daily point of control where that golden pocket was. So if we do the fib pull from the high to the low here, and we take the golden pocket, you can see in our golden pocket here, our larger golden pocket, we also do have that naked daily up there, naked daily point of control. So that would be our next area resistance right around 39.8 to 40 cents. 39.8 to 40 cents here is a level I'd be watching. This area here is a resistance I'd be watching. Now, where we're at right now, I do think we are going to see a rejection from here and a move to the downside. But we don't see 4-hour bear divs here. Let's zoom in on the 2-hour. No bear divs on the 2-hour. No bear divs on the 1-hour. Money flow looks strong. So this might just be a small rejection to retest this first box of support before continuing higher, because we are not seeing very much bear divs here, and we are not seeing money flow looks strong. So we are seeing 15-minute bear divs, higher highs here, lower highs here. That 15-minute bear div, let's look at 6-minute here. Yeah, and we are seeing multiple drives of bear div on the 6-minute. Money flows coming out. So yeah, I do expect a little rejection from where we're at now from the 786 back down to this VWAP area and to our prior range value area low in confluence with our prior lows here. And we can look for that. Let me turn this on. Let's zoom back out onto the hourly. And then if we do our large golden pocket pull, here. So from these lows to the high we just made, our golden pocket pull there is at the bottom of all these lows, these semi-equal lows here at the bottom of this range. If we do take the fixed range volume profile right before the breakout of this range here, you can see that our value area low of this range is also there. So if we really drop, that's a level to be watching. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart so we can get a better look at that. Here, this prior range that was down here was our other range. So around 30.6 cents to 31 cents is a area to be looking for support now as well, a farther drop. But we have many levels before that of support to be looking at. So this area here is one area you could be watching. We could put the box there. There's no other naked daily levels or naked weekly levels that I'm interested in that we haven't already hit into. And then we did have a pitchfork. So you can see, actually, let me clean this up so you can see. All right. We had our pitchfork, our much larger pitchfork, and we did reject from that. Let's zoom out here onto the daily chart. You can see we kind of got some wicks past it here, but our much larger pitchfork that has been really nicely respected. You can see the band rejected us multiple times. We finally flipped it to support, flipped the upper part of the lower band to support. First time we came up to the midline, we did see a small rejection on the daily, but we're able to pump to the top of the band. Tried a few times up here to break this pitchfork here, but you could see we wicked past it, but we couldn't really close any dailies above it. And now we're starting to drop here. When we dropped through the band and it was acting as resistance all through here. But then when we pumped with today's pump, we pumped through the entire upper band here, straight up to this local 786 and the POC of the prior range. So also now, if we zoom in, our band of support, let's do this, our band that we broke can now act as a support as well. So let's turn on some of these boxes. Okay, so one of our boxes here is at the bottom of the band. So we have more confluence on this box here, which is also our bigger SR flip level. And then our first level here, around 36 cents, 36.6, is in confluence with the top of that band. So that's an area to be watching as well. All right, which one is it? This is our value area low of our range, of our prior range, and our prior lows were there. So that's an area we could be looking to pull back to. So that's kind of it for Dogecoin. We are at an important resistance right now. Not seeing many higher time frame bear divs, but we are seeing some low time frame bear divs, 15 minute and down, 15.6. So we might expect a pullback to retest our prior range value area low as well as our prior lows here, and it's also close to this pitchfork band. Retest it after we break the band to the upside. Oftentimes we'll come back down for a bullish retest to continue higher. Now we do have our weekly level that's close to the top of the band here, or to the top of the pitchfork. And we do have our prior swing fail pattern highs up there as well. So we have some liquidity up here. The liquidity into the actual top of the pitchfork looks a little bit nicer than the weekly, but this could be a general area you're looking at up here as well, as a kind of box of resistance to be looking at. I would probably look at these as two separate trades here. Let's look at our session volume profile. Nothing there. Yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at for Doge. I would still continue to play this range here. You could also do a fixed range volume profile pull of the entire range, including both parts of it. So it's pretty much the same volume levels as far as the value area high goes here. Let's look at one more thing. So the 786 there at 43.74-ish is in confluence with the value area high of this entire range. There is some confluence there for a short as well, just like this lower 786 is in confluence with the POC here, and this lower one is from this high to this low. This higher 786 is from the highs here all the way to the lows. So we have that 786 in confluence with the value area high. That is another level I would be watching here. And then our last level there. So you guys can see those boxes. Let's do this. Oh. Here. All right, now let me zoom in here. These are the boxes of support and resistance that I'm interested in looking at here. And of course, where we're at right now. Right now is a rejection level where we just hit into that 786 and the POC of our prior range. It's also the POC of this big range, but if we do that POC again, if we do the prior fib range pull just before we start lose the dump there, you can see that POC there. So that's where you should be looking for, or that's key levels to be looking for trades at. Of course, take proper risk management. If you do long any of these supports or short any of these resistances, make sure you're putting your stops in accordance with technical levels there. That is the analysis for Doge. Next up, we're going to look at Filecoin. So let's zoom out onto the weekly. Okay. Wow, this coin's been going sideways for a long time. You can obviously see since May of 2022, we've kind of been in this larger range down here. But let's mark out some of these levels. We can mark out this weekly that's up here. Now weekly support, our weekly support that's naked is down here. I don't think I'm going to mark that out quite yet. Let's go to our daily. We do have this daily that looks pretty nice up here. And then we have the daily down here that wasn't hit. Those are the levels I'd be watching as far as that goes. Let's zoom back out to the weekly. We can always do our fixed range volume profile pull of the big range. So we're at our point of control right now. You can see the value area low held really well for multiple weeks, and then we got the move up, exploded. If we do our weekly fib pull, yeah, so looks like we front ran that a little bit, but if we do it from the lows here and we go to the golden pocket, so we're holding our golden pocket overall there on the weekly from the last big weekly low to the high that we just made. We're bouncing from the golden pocket, showing some bullish continuation. Now we could do a pitchfork here from the very bear market lows to the high to the low here. Let's zoom in onto the daily. And let's look at this as a modified. Yeah, this is pretty nice, actually. All right, so we have our pitchfork here. You can see the lower band was respected many times. We could look at this as, I mean, you could see this midline here hit to the dollar, rejected, but then when we flipped it, it held as support. We saw some wicks past it. That's probably just because of low liquidity, and held overall on the daily. When we finally lost it, we came back down to the lower band area here. So already I do see the nice level support, which is this daily into the band of the pitchfork here. Our resistances, there's not many good resistances there though. Let me check this again on a skiff pitchfork. Okay, I think this original pitchfork looks the best. So you can see we came up, we held the bottom of it, we came up to the midline, rejected from the midline. We've been chopping around in this lower band, just like many coins are chopping around in their bands, their lower bands or upper bands. Now we are breaking that upper band to the upside. So this same sort of range that Bitcoin had been in since December 24th, this smaller range, Filecoin looks like it's in that as well. We can do a pull here of that area. Let's zoom in and actually get a better look at that. So from those lows, I'll go to here. We're breaking the value area high of that range. We're breaking above the band, just like Bitcoin is as well. Now we are coming up to our prior lows here. These two prior lows, we're at those prior lows. Let's do a fib pull, kind of like we did with Doge, from the last big high, internal high here to the lows. Our golden pocket is above. We're probably rejecting from the 0.5. Yep. Okay. So we're rejecting from the 0.5 in our prior lows here. So far, rejecting. We're not seeing much of rejection. We might just retest this band here and then continue higher. Let me hide this range and let's look at a channel pull from these lows to the next big higher low, and then we'll go to these highs here. Yeah, this is nice. You can see the midline's been respected real nice here. And our golden pocket is going to be aligning with the top of the channel. All right, so we do have our first big level here around this area. Let me zoom out. Let's do a fixed range volume profile pull of the last big daily consolidation here in this area. And yeah, it's also our prior range value area low. Well, that's where we're rejecting from right now, our prior range value area low. The value area high of that range is very close to the golden pocket though. So, and the top of the channel that we're seeing. If we do a fib pull on the daily, and we go from the highs on the daily to the lows here. Okay, so that's pretty nice confluence as well. We do have our golden pocket really close to our daily. We also have that liquidity up here, the last internal liquidity grab on the daily. I mean, you could also look at this high here, but we could go to this high just to start. I actually do like this high better though. And then we could do our last big daily fib pull from the downside. So we go from the low to the high up here. So it looks like we already hit into our golden pocket. Let's look at the 786. We have not hit into the 786 yet. We front ran it. So we do need to be aware because we also have a fresh daily down there as well. So down in this area here from the 786 to the daily, we have a level of support down here that hasn't been hit as well. That's an area to be watching. Let's look at our naked dailies. Okay, so right at the top of this channel here, we also have a naked daily point of control up there. And it looks like towards the bottom of the channel we do as well. So let's zoom in and let's look at this channel here. Let's go on to the 2-hour chart. So it looks like we also did kind of an SFP of this internal liquidity here at the start of this range. We got the liquidity grab. We do have our VWAP down here in confluence with the channel midline. So if we do not hold this pitchfork band, because this could be kind of a fake out of the pitchfork band. This pitchfork band is a higher level pitchfork band, so sometimes you do see kind of fake outs like in this area here. We could see a fake out. We could see a drop back down to the midline here in confluence with the VWAP. Even though the VWAP is going to close in 30 minutes, we'll have a VWAP close here. And let's look at our Fibonacci pull from the bottom of the move just today to the top of the move. All right, so we do have the 786 is in confluence with the bottom of the channel, but our golden pocket I like a little bit better because our golden pocket is in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork band. And that pitchfork band is a much higher level of support. Let's also do the fixed range volume profile pull of this again, but let's bring it to just before the breakout. All right, I guess that doesn't align very well. No, so this is one area I'd definitely be looking for support as well in here, like that 510 to 513 cent area. You could be looking at the point of control. It does align with that 786. So if I come here and let's put the 786 on too. So the 786 is in alignment with our last big range point of control here. And that's also the bottom of the channel. So that's a level I'd be definitely watching as well. This area here. Your very local support is in this pick channel midline with the VWAP. If we do the same range pull though here, and let's do the 382, because in strong trends the 382 often acts as support. 382, I don't like that. We could be looking at the 0.5. I mean, that is a correction target. So if this kind of, you're seeing this as an impulsive, sub count here, then you could be looking to come back down to the 0.5, which is in confluence with that value area high. Oftentimes when you break a range like this, like Bitcoin is doing today, you'll come back down to bullishly retest the value area high to confirm the flip to support to continue higher. So that is a level, I don't know if I'd be paying super big attention to that. I mean, it is a level to watch. There is some confluence there. To the upside, the first level I'd be watching to the upside is this $6 and about 10 cents to $6.18, which is the top of the channel. And then we do have the daily golden pocket up here at like 670 to, what is that, $7 here. That's kind of a big area to be watching though. And then our weekly and midlines up there. We could be looking for the SFP of these prior highs here into the midline now. So if we're really bullish and we're really getting pumping over the next few days, by the time we get up there, it'll probably be around here. We could look for the SFP into the pitchfork midline. So that's definitely a bigger area. You could be looking maybe to take some spot there too, spot profits there. Otherwise, I would just continue trading. You can do a fib range pull on this much bigger range. So from like this here. Yeah, and we have our value area high right at that golden pocket. So that golden pocket is an area to be watching. That golden pocket to daily there. I don't like how the daily is so far away from the golden pocket. But you can also see our point of control of that big range is also down at our 786 and the bottom of our channel down there. All right, so that's it for Filecoin. Next one we're going to do is Eigen USDT. Okay. Was this a newer coin? Looks kind of new here. All right, so we got our weekly resistance up here that's fresh. And we do have a weekly support down here. Now, this weekly here is a weekly open. We can, if this candle closes green in a couple days, we can mark this out in a couple days. You could even mark it on your chart as weekly open. I'm not going to do that. And I see a very nice range. So you can see these weeklies kind of show the range as well. So you can just do a fixed range volume profile. Obviously exclude that last big candle. That was probably the launch candle. And you can see this value area that we're trading in. You can see we're hitting the value area high today on this little pump. So let me get rid of that for a second. Let's look at some possible daily supports. I mean, we do have this intraday daily support here. And then we have this lower one, but I'm not going to mark that out quite yet. We do have a possible pitchfork to look at. We can go from the lows to these last big pump highs and then down to the lows here. Let's see, is that 329.3 and that's 328. Okay. And then we'll change that to a skiff pitchfork because there's not much price action there, so you want to make it as flat as possible. All right. Now let's do our pull again here. And then let's zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. So it looks like we're finally breaking this lower band. You can see it acted, the bottom part of the lower band acted as resistance here. Here it was resistance. Here we kind of pumped to the top of the lower band, rejected, back down to the PLC, and now we're breaking through it. But we're breaking up to the value area high right now. So we could see kind of a small rotation back down to bullishly backtest this band before continuing higher. Let's see. We do have, let's do a golden pocket pull from the highs of the pitchfork to the lows. Now we're going to have our golden pocket up and confluence with the midline here because it is going to take some time to get up there. So that is a area that I would definitely be watching for here as a definite resistance level between 475 and 480-ish, 482. This area here is a resistance to be watching. We could do a smaller fixed range volume profile pull of just like this last like head and shoulders type price action that we're seeing. The value area high of that range is also close to there, so that you could kind of keep that in mind as well. We are rejecting from it's a small rejection so far, but we are finding some resistance, I should say, at our value area high here. So if we're finding resistance there, you could do a very local fib pull from the last bottoms. Let's see. Okay, this one is a bit lower here to the highs that we're rejecting from. And your golden pocket is close to the POC here. So A retrace back to the POC into the golden pocket is your very, very first level, local level of support that you could be watching here. Well, I mean, you could actually look for support before that. If we look at this as a strong trend, the start of a strong trend, you do have your pitchfork band kind of close by there. I don't like that though. It's a little bit lower. So let's go back. And then your daily, your fresh daily is in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork, because by the time, if we do rotate down and kind of chop within this band for a little bit, by the time we get down here, they're going to be in pretty nice confluence. So like around here is an area to be watching. We could do a big fib pull as well from the bottom of the pitchfork to the top of the pitchfork. Okay, so that is nice because our golden pocket is down there as well, our bigger golden pocket. Yeah. Okay, so if we zoom back in, let's zoom on to the 2-hour chart. So the bigger golden pocket is right down in that box here. You can just expand that a little bit. And then yeah, that's kind of what I'd be watching local levels here on Eigen USDT. We do have that weekly that's up there that's naked as well, and then you can look at the SFP of these highs into the top of the pitchfork upper band. So if you look at this high here, and we look at the swing failure pattern of the highs, you can see the swing failure pattern of the highs is into the pitchfork band, which by that time it will take some time to get up there. So that's like mid-January or so. We can look for an SFP into the top of the band here and then see a rejection. So that's an area I'd be watching as well. Here. There's not much else on this. This is a fairly new coin. So, all right. Next up is going to be Odos. Odos. Ooh, this one's really new too. Okay, let's zoom into the 4-hour chart. Is this only a couple days old? Odos. Let's check MEXC. They usually list stuff pretty quick. All right, looks the same. So this looks like a real new coin. So I'm going to be really limited on my TA here, but we can at least check it out. I do see right away on the daily, we do have this daily support down here. Let's actually go on to the weekly. Let's see if there's even 2 weeks worth of candles. Nothing. There's 3 candles, but yeah, there's nothing there. Let's go on to the daily. Again, we took this daily here. We do have this daily that's right here. All right, let's zoom in on to the 4-hour chart. What I can kind of see here is it looks sort of like we're doing some sort of ascending channel on this here. Like if you see like this here, and then our semi-equal highs. So you could be looking at something like this that's an ascending channel that's going to break out. If we break out of this, I bet you are, so you can measure that by going from the top of the channel. Let's turn off our magnet, or the top, the opening of the triangle is your target. So you could take that, you put it on top there, and our target would be kind of close to those highs. I mean, that's like a launch open high, so I don't know if I'd even be paying too much attention to that. You could do a very, very local, just based off the first kind of price action of this. You could do a pitchfork, but this pitchfork isn't, I mean, with super new coins like this, it's really hard to do TA on them. But you could do this pitchfork. You can see we rejected from the midline. The band held a little bit in here, and it did hold a little bit in here before we lost it. And then we came back down to the bottom of the pitchfork, and the bottom of the pitchfork is holding. It's actually, this pitchfork does work really well for this. So let me get rid of this triangle stuff. So yeah, I actually think this is a great pitchfork for the limited price action that we have. If we hold where we're at now, we could see a move up to SFP, these local highs here, which would be into the pitchfork band of resistance up here. So that's like a level you could be watching. This kind of box up here. As far as supports go, though, I mean, you could do a fib pull from the bottom to the top here. Let's see. It looks like we did front run the golden pocket. So you could see a drop back down to the golden pocket, but the 786 looks nicer because it's on the daily. So that's definitely what be watching this daily at 0.30039. It's in perfect confluence with the 786. So that is a definite support level I would be watching. Like this little area here. And then your other highs here. I mean, you have these local highs here or the bigger highs up here into the box up there. So, you know, that 0.4989, the SFP of these highs would be nice into the pitchfork band, maybe into the top of this lower pitchfork band would be nice. Other than that, I mean, there's not much I can show you on this. This is super new. So just kind of keep an eye on this level. Here's resistance. This level here is support. Where we're at right now is kind of a support that's been holding. So if we get a move up, that's where you want to be looking. You could also do the local fib pull here very locally from this local high to the low that we created. And let's look. It looks like we already rejected from the golden pocket. Yeah, we rejected from the golden pocket here. So, and then you could do your volume profile here. All right, so that golden pocket is where the value area high is. We did see the rejection from there, and then we're kind of look at all these wicks around the POC. We're not able to reclaim the POC. We do have the bottom of the volume profile band. Let me just do this real quick. Let me pull it from the very beginning. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that. So right here after the impulse finishes. All right. And then you do have this local other area of support, which is the daily into this value area low here. And then you also got these prior lows, which is kind of like internal liquidity you could be looking at here. So you could kind of do something like this. This area here is a box of support. You kind of already rejected from this resistance here. So yeah, I mean, that's all I got on this. Odos. Next up is going to be ZRO. Okay. All right, so let's mark out the weekly up here. And then we can mark one more weekly. I'm going to do this weekly here. We do have one that is lower as well, but I'm not going to mark it out yet. And then while we're on this weekly chart, I see a possible pitchfork we could do from this last weekly low to the high to the low here. And we're going to change that to an original. Okay. Now we'll zoom in onto the daily. Sometimes trading view is glitchy like that. I don't like that. Okay, and we kind of have the same sort of sideways range that you could pull, like this whole range here. So it looks like we're finally breaking above the value area high. We're coming back to retest it. So the back test of the value area high is in confluence with the bottom of this band. So that's an area, but we're already holding the band, kind of the retest of the band here. That's a much bigger range you could be focusing on. But we could also do just this last daily bit of price action that we've been seeing here. So right away, I can see the value area high in the weekly is definitely a box of resistance you want to be watching. This kind of here. Obviously, you're going to have to zoom in real far to see that. Like this little area here. And then our point of control is going to be in pretty close confluence with the midline in just a few days here. Okay, so we've got also the liquidity of the last daily high into the band as well. So this is a box of resistance you could be looking at here, depending on how quick it gets there. The SFP here into the pitchfork band. The upper part of the pitchfork band is nice. Let's do a couple fib pulls here. So let's do it from the last daily low to the high. We already hit into that golden pocket here. So I wouldn't end here. So I wouldn't, I mean, it is still nice confluence because did we hit the 0.65? No, we front ran the 0.65 just barely. So the 0.65 is at the bottom of this band. But if we actually extend this to the, if we click on this here and extend it to the bottom of the pitchfork, so the last real big daily lows to the high that we just made, yeah, that's kind of nice there. So we do have the golden pocket into the pitchfork band here if we do reject, depending on how long it takes. So say we can also pull it over here and it would be the bottom. I actually like that better because it is going to take some time. So here we go there. And then, of course, it's going to take, if it takes a little bit of time, we have our POC in confluence with this midline here of the band. We could do the local fib pull from high to low. And our 786 is going to be right here. So this box is really nice. This resistance at 698 is such nice resistance here. We've got our fresh weekly. We've got our value area high of our daily range and our 786 up there. That's definitely a resistance you could be looking at a pullback from, or at least a take profit level if you're long on this thing. If you do drop a little bit lower, you do have this golden pocket here. There's also a daily order block close by. This daily order block is in this pitchfork band at the bottom of this band here. You can see this order block, which an order block is like just when you see a green candle like this, and then you see one red candle and then more green candles continue. This red candle in between all the green candles is called an order block. So you could do something like, just from the open to close, not the wicks. Open to close here. This is like the order block. You have your last daily order block in this pitchfork band. That's an area to be looking. You also have your prior lows there as well. So you could do an SFP of these lows into the order block, into the pitchfork band. So that's an area I'd be watching. And of course, I should adjust this, but there you go. Yeah, that's nice. So this SFP is definitely an area you want to be watching as well. Liquidity is also good to hunt. We have this box here. We have this box here. We have this box here and this box here. And then up higher, the third box of resistance. That's pretty much all there is. I mean, let's look at session volume profile real quick. Okay, so even more confluence up here in this. God, this area is so nice here. This resistance up here. And then, of course, I mean, we have these internal highs at this point of control here, but I wouldn't be paying too much attention to that. All right, that is ZRO. Now we're going to go to RSR. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I did. I looks like I did analysis on this the other day. Okay, so it looks like we're breaking our box. So we did though. Looks like I was looking at this as like an SFP here. So we did technically get the SFP of that high and got the dump back down to our support and then held that and pumped. So that trade did work out there. I mean, you could have, if the SFP, then you could have taken profit at these lows here of this little range on the daily. So that worked really nice. Let's get rid of that now. It's no longer an area. This is still nice here. The lows here on this last big daily into this like pitchfork midline area. The highs, the 786 retrace into the top of the pitchfork is really nice. It's even looking in nicer alignment now if it takes a little bit to get there. I don't know if I'd include that box in the daily though. I would probably do this as one and then do your daily as a separate one. Let's go on to the weekly here. Okay. So we're coming up to a weekly resistance right now. We had our weekly down there. So I think I didn't mark this out because that was probably during the week when I had it, when I was doing that. Let's go back to the daily. So yeah, this pitchfork's been really nice. Look at this. Midline, rejection, 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 flip to support. Now we're pumping up. We rejected from the, or when we lost the band, rejected from it, came back down to the midline, rejected, rejected, rejected. Now we're finally breaking it today. So this 786 in the top of the pitchfork looks really nice. Let's see. Let's actually real quick here. So if we do have that weekly there. That's right up there. If we do a fib pull from the highs to the lows, and we look at our strong trend. Okay, we broke that. Okay, so just like with Bitcoin, if this is, after we finished all this impulsive price action, if this is sort of a zigzag correction to the downside, A, B, and then a C down to here, this area, you could look at the weekly and the 0.5 are in close confluence, and the 0.5 often acts as a level to reject from in a corrective wave. So I would be watching that. We also do have that daily order block that's right there, as well as the weekly level. So of course there's daily order block there. There, this thing's pumping though. Look at it's pumping as we speak. Look at that daily candle. Wow. Now, if you want to get real degen on this, you could zoom in onto the 4-hour. We do have this range that you could be looking at here. I would probably just do it from there. Looks like we're going to be breaking that volume there. Yep, we're breaking. So you can see the value area high was holding many times. We're breaking out of it now. So when we're breaking that range volume, we do have internal highs here. So you could do a fib pull from these last internal highs down to the lows here. And we could look at the golden pocket. Actually, let's look at the JC pocket. So we broke the JC pocket. But yeah, so we also have our 786 that's close to this area here. So I would extend this. Like this is looking kind of nice there as a possible resistance area. Looks like we're coming up to that now. So I'd be watching that. Oop. Okay, well, you got the idea. The box is there. All right, now if we do want to look for, after this big impulse up, we can be looking at retraces. Now, it's not going to end. The problem is I'm pulling a fib from the top right now. That's not going to be the top. Most likely, that's not going to be the top. If it is, if for some reason we reject from here, you can see our golden pocket is in confluence with the bottom of the band there. I don't see much to keep us going higher to these levels. We probably do have a fair value gap there. Yeah, I mean, we have our fair value gap that's close by, but I wouldn't trade just off of a fair value gap. Plus, the top of our fair value gap is the start of our box, so that's kind of nice. And then you could also do the fib pull from the bottom to the top. 382. 382 is real close to that other golden pocket, so I think we're probably going to make it up to the weekly and that 786, that local order 786. If not, we're coming up here. You can also watch the daily up here, but we have levels before that. Your supports, you still have your midline here. That midline is probably also, zoom out onto the daily here. Fib pull from last big daily low to the highs here. Let's go golden pocket. And actually, let's turn that on log scale. Yeah, okay, that's your log golden pocket. And the reason I use log scale, because look at this move. This is from the low to the high, 400% move. So you want to use log scale. If it's over 200%, you probably want to use log scale. Let me get rid of that. So yeah, that box there. We have this box here with our golden pocket in the lower pitchfork band. We do have our upper band up here, as well as the local 786. We have the weekly and the local 0.5, and then the 786 of this smaller high to low. Those are your levels you should be watching here on RSR. Now also be watching at these levels for divs, bear divs. Whether you're using Market Cipher B or like the MACD or RSI, you can still look for bear divs and bull divs on the RSI or even the stochastic RSI. And then you can also turn on money flow. You can come in here into indicators and you can go to money flow. There is a money flow indicator here. It's not as nice as Market Ciphers, but it does work. I mean, it's not the same for me. I think Market Ciphers has the most accurate one. That's one of the main reasons why I like Market Cipher. I do kind of see a slight channel in here, actually. So let me go in to the 4-hour chart. And I see we're kind of right in the same kind of channel that Bitcoin's in. So if we go from the last low here to this lower high here, and then we bring it up to these highs. Yeah, okay, so we do have our channel midline that's around this area as well. And then the top of our channel is around this box. So of course more confluence. It just always seems to work out that way. Because it could take only 4 to 8 hours to get up here, and that would be in the confluence with our midline. But of course it's going to take longer to get up here, and it's all would be in confluence with the top of the channel. If we pumped real quick, it'd be right here. So that's RSR. Last one we're gonna do is Phantom USDT. Well, it looks like I did some on this just recently too. Yeah, okay. We did drop to our prior range point of control, or our big range point of control, in confluence with that weekly. We held the weekly. It looks like our golden pocket and bottom of the channel did not hold. So that would have been a loss there. We still do have our 0.5. Now that's going to change though. So if we do a fib pull from the highs to the lows there, and we turn on our golden pocket, that's even nicer now. Our golden pocket here is at, and actually we're coming up for the bearish backtest of this channel now. This channel was being nicely respected. We're losing it. We're coming up for the bearish backtest now, which is also our prior lows. So that we might be at resistance right where we're at right now. We might reject and come back down. But let's focus on this real quick. So we do have the golden pocket into the value area high here. Turn this off. Golden pocket into value area high, which is also around our midline, but we'd have to pump pretty quick there to get to the midline in time. I mean, the golden pocket's nice. We could wick up past the value area high into the golden pocket and into the midline there. So like 119-ish is looking pretty good there. We still do have our weekly up here. And then this weekly is in confluence with the top of the channel, but let's... Okay, so this 0.5 is still nice. It's from the lows of the channel to the highs of the channel. You can see our 0.5 there is in confluence with... What is this glitchiness that we're seeing? All right, so we do have our prior lows on the daily, our big last lows that we just front ran. We can see the swing failure pattern into the 0.5 here, which is also the swing failure pattern is right around this daily, this range that we were seeing on the daily here for a few weeks. It is the value area low of this range. So that's why the swing failure pattern into the value area low would be nice. You have your 0.5 a little bit below that. We could wick down there, especially with lower levels or lower liquidity. Now let's zoom in. We do have a fresh daily actually here. Daily, and we're going to get rid of this weekly now because we touched it. And we have our fresh daily here as well. Which would be in confluence with the 0.5, I believe. Close. But I'm not going to mark that. Okay, this looks really nice up here. The value area high into the golden pocket in the midline. But right now, we are losing the channel that we've been in for many, many weeks. A channel that we've been in for weeks. We're coming up for the bearish backtest now, which is also around our prior lows. If we reject here, so let's zoom in here onto the 4-hour chart. If we do reject from the C, you can see we rejected once yesterday, came try for it again today, couldn't wick, can't get back up into it. So if we do see a rotation down, you could be looking at very locally at levels. You could go from a high to low here. We do have our local golden pocket below these internal lows here. So the very first level of support you could be watching is the SFP into the golden pocket here. Swing failure patterns into golden pockets are always great. Now, this is a local scalp trade. This isn't something... If we're really seeing a flip in market structure... But I like this level here because we have the swing failure pattern into the prior range value area low. And the 0.5s around there. We did front run that liquidity just by a little. So we might come back down to take it. And then we have our bigger range value area low down here with this liquidity in this box up here. You could do one more pull from the internal highs, kind of like we did on Doge from these internal highs, high or low here. Let's see, our 786 is probably close to the daily. Okay, pitchforks on this? No. Let me zoom out here. All right, let me get rid of this real quick. We're going to go on to the weekly chart, and we are going to look at one pitchfork real quick. Go to the lows on the weekly, up to the highs. Let's see, that's 12289, and that's 12250. So this weekly here down to this low. Let's turn that into a skiff. Let me hide some of this stuff so it's easier to see. All right. So I do like that the top of the pitchfork is at that weekly. So I would be watching that area for resistance. We are bouncing from the midline. So let's zoom in here onto the daily and we'll give this a better look here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me adjust this. All right. Bouncing from the midline really nicely. You can see we kind of chopped around a little bit. The band held as resistance, then held as support, flipped to resist. The bottom of the band flipped to resistance. We dropped to the midline. Now we're coming back up. Midline held real well all through here for the most part, and then the bottom of the band held here. So this is a nicely respected pitchfork. So we do also have, I know I have this pull that I just hid, but I'm just going to do this real quick, and we're going to go to Golden Pocket. So yeah, the Golden Pocket's at the top of the band there. Okay, that was our local one. Yeah, all right, so we already have the box there. So more confluence. The top of the band in confluence with the Golden Pocket. So 119, 118, 8, 9. And then we have the top up here. That's the pitchfork up there. This is going to look real messy, but... All right. So I still would be interested in this SFP of 6405 down here if we reject from the back test of the channel, which we're at right now. We do have this really nice level up here. 118.89 to 119. Midline of the channel, top of the pitchfork band. Just that's a lot. That's a really good confluence level up here in this purple box here. We do have the weekly up here close to the highs, the SFP highs. And then we have the top of the pitchfork, so you could even do a box like here if we really pump, because we have, depending on how quick we pump, our channels kind of up there. We have the top of the pitchfork, which we front ran just a little bit, and then we have our weekly up there, our prior weekly. Let's go from the lows of the pitchfork to the highs. Let's do the 786, and we're going to change it to, now that 786 is in that box as well, but yeah, actually that's nice. So the 78, the SFP down here of these lows into the 786 is nice. That's what I'd be looking at for now. And then if we, I mean, gosh, if we go down this far, that's pretty bad. You could do a volume profile pull from like this whole pick, all the stuff inside the pitchfork. We're at the point of control, so that's part of the reason we bounced. It was a pitchfork midline. It was the point of control. It was a weekly. Remember, I had that weekly marked out before. And then also the value area low of this range is also in this purple box here. And the value area high is in this purple box here. So more confluence. These boxes look nice. All right, that's it for Phantom. That's going to be the technical analysis for today. I know this, when it's all on the chart like this together, it looks like a complete mess. But you can watch the video on how to do it, or you can just look at the levels. You can like pause it and kind of mark out where these boxes are here. Hope this helps a little bit. Everybody have a good day. Let's check Bitcoin real quick. Just real quick. Let's zoom in onto the 12-minute chart. Okay, so this kind of looks bull flaggy to me. Kind of like a bull flag, but you got to remember, yesterday, our highs yesterday were at that pitchfork band. Here. So now that pitchfork band is going to be a support again. So if we come back down to this area, but also our VWAP close right below is kind of where our anchored VWAP was. So remember, this anchored VWAP is pretty much at the same level as our value area high of that smaller range. So this is an area to be watching for a bullish retest here. If we do a fib pull from this last local low to the high here, and we take our golden pocket. Yeah, okay, so that's 97,144 to 97,2-ish is definitely an area of support, because if we zoom out here, let's go onto the 2-hour chart. You see our anchored VWAP is right there at that golden pocket. If we do our fixed range volume profile here, you can see our value area highs there. You zoom out a little bit more and actually grab that there. So there's some confluence there. And if we do a fib pull from the lows to the highs and we look at the 382, let's see where that's at. Okay, 382 is below these lows. That might be a nice little internal liquidity grab into the 382 to continue higher. I still do think that 94.5 is a really important resistance, because it's the POC of our range back into the bottom of the band. Now, as long as we're above the band, we have to expect continuation to the upside. We did confirm the bear divs on the 2-hour, 1 hour, and below. The important retest is right now is going to be this value area high. Once you break this value area high, it's now going to be a level of support to be watching for a flip to support. So this area here is our very local support we want to be watching. Anchored VWAP, local golden pocket, value area high. We do have the band as well, but if we lose this, then yeah, that's the here. We could do a fib pull. Let me go into this. Yeah, so for the bottom of this channel that we hit on the first, we could do a fib pull from this bottom here up to the highs. And look, so our 382 is kind of nicely aligning with this midline of this channel that's been so respected here. And let's look at the golden pocket on that. Nothing there too much. Okay. Yeah, so I'd just be watching that locally, very locally. All right, everybody, have a good day.